I'm sticking with the clap because I did in the last video, so you know, why not? I couldn't think of anything else to do to start the video, so I just clapped. Hello, welcome back. Sorry there hasn't been a video in like over a week. In the last video that I recorded, I got a cold. Like, I didn't get a cold, I was like starting to get a headache in that video, and then I thought, oh, maybe it was too sunny, and you know, maybe I was just getting a bit of a headache trying to think of things to say. No, turns out the next day I got a cold, so I wasn't well, and in the midst of not being well, I was also tidying up a bit. So that's why there hasn't been much videos out within the last week, is because I had a cold. You can tell by the beard that it hasn't been shaved. If I'm not well, I don't usually shave because I can't be bothered to. So yeah, we're just going to swing right into it. Continue on with the Blu-ray collection. We're going to talk about the H's and the I's, and we're going to try to get through as much videos as we can because Spooktober is coming up, and I would like to get all of this done before Spooktober, because when October comes, then it's all about Spooktober, and that's all I'm thinking about, is making videos for Spooktober. If we don't get all this done before October, then we'll pick it up after Spooktober and we'll finish off in November. There's no rush, there's no one making me do these videos, so let's just do it. Get straight into it, let's get into the H's. And the first one is a very interesting one, and speaking of Spooktober, Halloween! The complete collection. Now this is literally every single Halloween film, even the Rob Zombie films, in that type of a packaging. It's great. Now this is region A, so I have to watch it on my region 3 Blu-ray player. But for so long, there was no set where you could just get every single Halloween film, and then here it is. Here it is. I'm not going to talk too much about this, about the films actually, because the very first video Sophie and I will be doing for Spooktober will be a Halloween movie binge in anticipation for the upcoming Halloween film. Similar to how last year we did a Saw movie binge, this year we're going to be doing a Halloween movie binge where we're going to watch every single Halloween film and talk about it. So look out for that. That is the Halloween complete collection. Now going on to another set. It's a steelbook though, and it's the Hangover trilogy. I am a fan of this. I like the simplistic, minimalist design for these films. Not the films, the case and the design of this. I really enjoyed the first Halloween. We've just been talking about Halloween. Hangover. The first Hangover is one of my favourite comedies, like, ever. I really love that film. The Hangover 2, it's not great, but I don't hate it. Like, there's some people who really hate the film. I think it's good to kind of double bill the first and the second film. And the third film, I really enjoyed as well. I haven't seen it since the cinema, so I might rewatch it and despise it. But you know what? The Hangover trilogy, there's a reason why I wanted the trilogy and not just the first on Blu-ray, because, you know what? I like just watching all three, to be fair. Haven't done that yet, but yeah. Next up is a very nice edition, one that I am a big fan of. It is the Handmaiden Special Edition. This one's released by Curzon Artificial Eye, and now this includes the theatrical and extended cut. I've only seen the theatrical cut, haven't seen the extended cut. I love the artwork on this. It's one of my favourite like designs for a physical copy film. Yeah. I really like this film. I need to rewatch it. Sophie and I watched it, and in like a ridiculous time. I think we started at like we started at like 10 to midnight. So it finished at like 1 o'clock time, like past 1 o'clock. Sophie fell asleep, missed the third act. She loved what she saw, and I really liked the film as well. and I really do need to rewatch it though. But it's an excellent film, really well acted. Yeah, and Park Chan-wook is probably one of my favourite directors, in all honesty. Next up is Harakiri, Death of a Samurai. Yes, Death of a Samurai. This is the remake, the 2011 remake directed by Takashi Miike. This is the remake of the film from the 50s called Harakiri. Haven't seen either of these yet. I want to see the original before I watch this, but I heard this is actually really good as well. I've heard nothing but amazing things about the original film, but I've also heard really good things about the remake, so looking forward to watching them both. The next film is Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. I kind of want to get a better edition, but you know what? I do like this edition anyway. The special features on this Blu-ray is a Beyond the Eight, a behind-the-scenes look, and Sam Jackson's Guide to Glorious 70mm, which is a feature that I really wouldn't mind watching. One of my favourite Tarantino films, actually. I love this film. I'm not going to say too much about this, because one day, hopefully soon, I will be doing a Tarantino review series, so I'm not going to talk too in depth about them, but I love Hateful Eight. A lot of people actually really didn't like the film. I don't get why. It's everything I love in a Tarantino film, to be honest with you. It's an absolutely excellent film. Next up, Headshot. This is a really fun action film. This is like the perfect cleanser. This is the perfect way to quench your thirst for waiting for the Raid 3, because we've got the Raid 2, Raid 1, Raid 2, and we're still waiting for the Raid 3. This is not exactly the thing that's going to replace the Raid 3, but it's you know, it's a good way to keep your palate cleansed, I guess. I don't know the terminology. It's a good way to keep your hype going for the Raid 2, and you know, it would be a cool triple bill to do the Raid films, the 2 Raid films, and Headshot. If you want my more in-depth opinions on Headshot, then I did a Foreign Film Friday for this film, so I reviewed the film already, so the link is down below in the description if you want to see my more in-depth thoughts on Headshot. Next up is a film that I didn't realise had a broke case. I didn't realise that. It's Her. Spike Jonze film. Probably, that was my ticket that fell out there. Probably my favourite Spike Jonze film. I love this film. It's such a beautiful film. Joaquin Phoenix gives one of his best performances. Then again, these days, any Joaquin Phoenix is one of Joaquin Phoenix's best performances. The man's been on fire within this decade. He's one of my favourite actors, without a doubt. And yeah, I absolutely adore this film. I love the acting, the sets, the costumes, the screenplay, everything about it I love. I did a review on this years ago, so if you want my full in-depth thoughts on Her, links in the description to see my review for that film. Oh boy, this film. Hang on, let me have a sip of my green tea before I talk about Zhang Yimou's Hero. I wish they would release a better edition of this film on Blu-ray, but as of now, this is literally the only edition you can really get. There's no fancy, cool edition. I want Criterion to release this on Blu-ray so I can get a much better edition than this film. But Hero, wow. I adore this film. I went through a phase on this channel where I just constantly talked praise of Hero. Like, there was like non-stop talk about how much I loved this film, and it's the best cinematography in any film ever. It's the most beautiful looking film ever. I remember the first time I watched this, I started to really get emotional. Like my eyes started getting like teary, and not from anything emotional happened, just from the pure visuals. It was just so stunning, just mind-blowing how gorgeous this film is. And I have done a review on this film. I'll probably do a Redux on this film, a Redux review at some point, but for now, I've already done a review, so if you want my more in-depth thoughts on Hero, links in the description for my review. I absolutely adore the film. I love it. Next up, a recent film, Hell or High Water. I'll try not... There's the glare. Glare is... there you go. The glare's gone. Hell or High Water. I've only seen this once, and I love this film. I think it's an absolute... I mean, short lists say it's a modern masterpiece, and I do agree with that. It's a film that I think will get a lot more love as time goes on. The people who have seen it do love this film, but I do think more people... Like, this film will grow a lot more. I would honestly put it in the same ilk as No Country for Old Men. I think I prefer No Country for Old Men more than Hell or High Water, but Hell or High Water is definitely... It's definitely up there in terms of, like, an absolutely just intense, excellent thrill ride of a modern neo-western. And yeah, I've seen more neo-westerns than I've seen classic westerns, and I do definitely think this is one of the better ones. Hell or High Water, absolutely excellent film. Okay, the next film is Hidden Figures. Now, this is a Sophie contribution to the collection. She bought this one. This is technically her Blu-ray, because she wants to see it. I wasn't fussed. I wasn't that bothered. I don't really have much of an opinion on this film. I saw it in the cinema. Didn't really need to see it again. I don't understand these 5-star ratings. Well, only one 5-star. The Sunday Express gave this 5 stars. It's just very by the book, bog standard type of film. I think it's a good film. It's well made, but it just does nothing for me, in all honesty. Next up, Hook. One of my in my top 3 favorite Steven Spielberg films. This is a big nostalgic film for me. I love the Peter Pan story anyway, and this is great. The acting, I think, is excellent. Robin Williams is just magical in this. He's just an absolute, just look at that. Look at him. He's so good at it. Dustin Hoffman gives, the best performance as Captain Hook. You know, Dante Bosco as Rufio. Great. What kid didn't want to be Rufio when they were younger? I know I did. I love, the sets, the costumes. It's just such movie magic is this film. And I'm looking forward to rewatching this again, because I haven't seen it in a few years. When Robin Williams died, it was on the telly, so I watched it then, but I haven't seen it since. But absolutely magical film. Next up, it's a steelbook, House of Flying Daggers. I love this design. We were just on about Hero, another Zhang Yimou film. I've only seen Hero and House of Flying Daggers in terms of Zhang Yimou films. I love House of Flying Daggers as well. Not as much as Hero, but I love House of Flying Daggers for as much of the same reasons as I love Hero. I love the action. I love the cinematography. It's beautiful. I don't know, where Hero is just epic, this is very personal. So, yeah, I don't know. Gorgeous film. I love the cinematography, the action. I love the action in both Hero and House of Flying Daggers are amazing. I really do need to rewatch. And if you've never seen House of Flying Daggers, really, seriously, do watch this. Watch Hero and House of Flying Daggers. I think a lot of people prefer House of Flying Daggers more than Hero, but just that I love. I love just the visuals of this film alone. But it's one of these films where it's a beautifully shot film. The visuals are gorgeous, but the film's not just about the visuals. The story is very much so the crutch of the whole film. The characters and the whole plot is a huge crutch of the entire package of House of Flying Daggers. Next up, How to Train Your Dragon 2. I own How to Train Your Dragon 1, but on DVD, not on Blu-ray. I loved this film. I really do like the first one, but the second one, oof, so good. I haven't seen it since my initial viewing of the film. At the time, I said it was my second favourite film in 2014 when I did my list for that year. I'm of the mindset that this is the closest that a DreamWorks film has come to being a Pixar film. DreamWorks are good, but there's very few films that are really, really good, like Prince of Egypt and this. I'm sure there's others I can't think of right now. Oh, the Kung Fu Panda films are really good as well, but How to Train Dragon 2 is like, that's the film that transcends into like this is the film that like really puts DreamWorks in like, it's like, see, DreamWorks, you can do things that are just as good as, like, really good quality, just as good as Pixar. And How to Train Dragon 2, I think, is better than some Pixar films, like the Cars films. But yeah, I think I do prefer this over, like, the Incredibles films as well. Like, I don't know, because I need to rewatch it, but I do really love How to Train Dragon 2. And the final film in the H's, at least not, because we still got the I's to go, but the H's, Hugo, the 3D Blu-ray. This was the first Martin Scorsese film I saw in the cinemas in 3D. The best use of 3D ever, bar none. No film's going to top it, I'm telling you that now. Yeah, a magical masterpiece, says someone from the Daily Mail. And I couldn't agree more. Oh god, I love this film so much. It's a film that really introduced me to like research more about like the inception of cinema, like the Lumiere brothers and Georges Méliès. This is the film that really like pushed me into like wanting to like look more into classic cinema in a time period for me, in a time when I first watched this film when I was just starting my film appreciation journey. This film was a huge part of that for me. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's a film you watch and you want to just kind of like I always want to watch this like round about like Christmas time. It's not a Christmas film, but it's a film that you want to watch when the snow's falling. You got your hot chocolate, you're under a blanket, and you're cozy, and you're just watching Hugo. It's just such a magical, lovely film. And I love the fact Martin Scorsese can do a film like this, and then 2 years later, he can do Wolf of Wall Street. The guy's a master of filmmaking, honestly. And that was the H's. And we're going to move on to the I's. I'm going to cut here because I need to pick up the I's and put them on the table. So, excuse me. Nearly had a travesty. The H's almost just kamikazed. They didn't, so we're all fine. Anyway, we're on to the I's, and starting the I's is I Saw the Devil. Almost legged it there. I Saw the Devil. Maybe my favourite Korean film. I need to like watch more South Korean cinema. But I Saw the Devil. You know, a load of I love Old Boy. Old Boy is one of my favourite films. I love that. I love The Handmaiden as well, and like Memories of Murder is excellent as well. But I Saw the Devil. What a ride this film is. Like, what an absolute bonkers, insane, just, and not in like a weird, like, oh, it's a wacky film. No, it's just such a ride. Like, you watch it and you're like, oh my god, what did I just watch? It's Choi Min-sik's best performance. He's a tour de force actor, hands down, without a doubt. And even, it's Lee Byung-hun. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He's amazing in this as well. 2 phenomenal acting performances. An absolute brutal ride of a film. Not for the faint of heart. Not for someone who's squeamish when watching a film. Brutal. But it's Asian cinema brutal. So it's the best type of brutal film. Like, it's so good. Up next is The Imitation Game. I really enjoyed this. I need to rewatch. I haven't seen it since the cinema. I think it's an excellent performance by Benedict Cumberbatch. I love like the time period and the way. Is it Morton Tildum? Morton Tildum, yes. I love the way he directs the film. It's a very well directed film. Everyone in it is really good acting wise as well. You know, Keira Knightley. Mark Strong, is he in this? Matthew Good. Yeah, Mark Strong. Yeah. I just remember everyone being really good in this. And The best British film of the year. I would be inclined to agree, actually. This was a very good... 2014 was actually a pretty solid year for British films. If I'm not mistaken, that's where Kajaki came out. Kajaki's really good as well. But this, excellent film. I need to rewatch it again. I did a review on this film, so the darkness has come. The light is just gone. But yes, I did do a review on this film, and if you're interested in my more in-depth opinions about The Imitation Game, links in the description below to see my review for that film. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Up next is In Bruges. Oh my god. I've recently grown to adore this film. Like, this might be in my top 10 now. Ever. It's probably in my top 20 ever. Yeah. I think it's safe to say I'm now obsessed with In Bruges. I watched it years ago for the first time. Really liked it. I rewatched it I watched it for the second time after I watched 3 Billboards in the cinema. Came home, I was like, let's watch In Bruges. And I loved it. And I couldn't get this film out of my head. And it's a film that I literally could put on anytime. Anytime. I could put this on right after I finish this video and I'll be into it. I absolutely adore this film. This is, at the moment, the most quotable film for me. I love the... I'm not going to get too in-depth in this because I kind of want to do a dedicated video solely to In Bruges. I might do a review on it at some point because, seriously, I love this film. I recently read the screenplay of the film, which is a screenplay that I do highly recommend you read if you are a fan of In Bruges, because it's one of the better screenplays that I can just... Again, the screenplay, I can read like that as... and this is someone who's not a huge reader, and, you know, I love reading the screenplay. I could read the screenplay probably as much as I could watch the film, and that's a lot. Speaking of watching the film a lot, Inception. I flat out love this film. This is like my second favourite film, probably. I know I said I don't have a definitive 2, 3, 4, 5 favourite film. I only have a definitive favourite. Although, if 12 Angry Men wasn't my favourite film of all time, I think it's safe to say Inception would definitely take the cake in terms of my all-time favourite film. This is the film I've seen more times than any other film. I could watch this anytime. As much as I could watch him more than In Bruges, and I love him, and you just heard how much I love In Bruges. But Inception, God, I absolutely adore this film. I'm not going to talk too in depth about it because Gary and I did a review on this film. So I'll leave a link in the description for that. As well as myself and Tim Hurley from the Late Reviews. We did a heel cast, a full spoiler heel cast, talking about Inception. 1 hour, myself and Tim talked nothing but Inception and why we love the film. So, links in the description below if you want it for the review and the heel cast on Inception. Absolutely adore the film. Next up, Inglourious Basterds. Now this comes with some nifty art cards out of the packaging because I got this pre-owned. I'm not going to say too much about this because I want to do I kind of want to do I want to dedicate full videos to talk about Quentin Tarantino's films, but I'm going to say this now, I flat out adore Inglourious Basterds. It's a film that I think is probably Tarantino's masterpiece in terms of filmmaking. I think it's his best made film, without a doubt. And I'm not a big war film fan. I'm not huge on war films, excuse me, but this is probably my favourite war film because of that reason. Because it's a very anti-war film while still being a war film. It's so good. I love it. I didn't realise how many films I love are begin with I, actually, because I'm going to talk about another film, Inherent Vice. Now, I wouldn't say I necessarily love Inherent Vice, But there's something addictive about this film. I've seen this twice now, and the first time I watched this film, I was just so like, what even did I watch? I think I love this film, but I really don't know. And I watched it again because I showed Sophie, and Sophie really wanted to watch the film. I went, okay then, I want to rewatch this, let's do it. And then we watched it, and I was like, what did you think? And she was like, I see what you mean about this film needing to have more than one watch. It's not a thing of like, you don't get it if you only watch this film once. No, you probably won't get this film if you only watch it once, but you might get everything about it, but there's still something about it that you're like, I still need to go back into that film. I described it as like, this film is like, you're high, and now I've never been high, but I have been in a complete Zen mode, which is the closest thing I can say is to smoking weed and getting a high, is being completely Zen and just kind of unlocking anything in your mind. That's what this film's like. It's funny, but then there's moments where it's like, wait, is it funny? Or isn't it? Yeah, it's a great film. One of Joaquin Phoenix's best performance, as I said. Any Joaquin Phoenix these days can be one of Joaquin Phoenix's best performance. Inherent Vices. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes like one of my all-time favourite films eventually, in all honesty. It probably won't be my favourite PTA film, because that will still probably be There Will Be Blood, but Inherent Vice, man, God, that... I can see myself flat out adoring that film in years to come. Right, next up is Inside Llewyn Davis. Now, I recently rewatched this film when Sophie and I did our 24-hour movie marathon, and I stuck this on because we watched The Big Lebowski, and Sophie was like, I love that film, and I said like, well, Inside Llewyn Davis has a bit of a similar storytelling mechanism to it. It's like, it's not really about a certain thing, it's kind of just events around this one character. And she's like, okay, then let's watch that then. Oh, no, okay then, fair enough, because I really like this film. It's one of those films I could watch multiple times, and she watched it, and she was like, well, that's one of my all-time favourite films. Like, I think, like, she loves it. I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. It's a modern masterpiece, I do feel. It's very hard to like say anything negative about Inside Llewyn Davis, because you got the amazing performances, you got the amazing look to the film. It's like, it's the colour's drained from it, but there's still something so vibrant about it. It's weird. The colour, the use of the colouring is interesting. The cinematography is really good. The editing even, and the soundtrack. So good. I got it on vinyl. I listened to it yesterday on vinyl, like just the soundtrack, and it works so well in the film, but it works just as good, just as an album. It's that good. I absolutely adore Inside Llewyn Davis. I kind of want to do like a dedicated series to the Coen Brothers films. I need to get that more of their films though, but hey, I love them. And Inside Llewyn Davis is one of my all-time favourite Coen Brothers films, without a doubt. And probably one of my all-time favourite films if I'm really thinking about it. Like it's really that good. Okay, the next thing, we've got 3 films. We've got Insidious, Insidious Chapter 2, and Insidious Chapter 3. I need to get The Last Key, because I really like The Last Key, actually. Yeah, these films, they're so much fun. They're so good. With the Conjuring films, I've talked about the Conjuring films. Like the Conjuring is like so scary. Like they're like really terrifying, and like they're so unnerving. Whereas the Insidious films, yeah, there's some good spooks to them, but like, God, they're just so much fun, aren't they? They're just like such like, I don't know. Like again, there are some really unnerving moments in this. Specifically in Chapter 3, there's one moment where I'm like, no. Nuh-uh, I can do without that. I actually want to sleep tonight, Lee Winnell. But for the most part, these feel like really awesome homages to like old school, like 80s horror. And yeah, I really like all of them, and including the fourth film, I actually really like The Last Key. The Last Key is really good. If you want to know my order of favourites with the Insidious films, I think they get better. I would probably have The Last Key. From best to worst, probably Chapter 3, Chapter 2, The Last Key, Insidious 1. And that's not to say Insidious 1's bad, I just like... Insidious 1 is a great film that sets up much better films, I think. It's a really brilliant setup. Like, without Insidious 1, we can't have any of the other really good films, I don't think. So yeah, that's my thoughts on those films. We're breaking the streak here because this is a film that I haven't seen yet. It's Interstellar 5555, the story of the secret star system. Now this is the film by Daft Punk. Now this is the anime musical film, and you know the music videos of like One More Time and all that lot. Basically discography, which is one of the best albums ever to any music ever. Yeah, that's basically what this is. It's this film. I'm looking forward to watching this film because I love discography, discovery, because Daft Punk they produce some of my favourite music ever. The album Random Access Memories is my all-time favourite album, and Discovery I really like as well, and I'm really looking forward to watching that eventually. Next up, Interstellar, the Digibook. Does this have my ticket in it? Yes, it does. Both tickets, because I want to see this twice. Once in the normal cinema, twice, second time, in IMAX. This is the Digibook, so you get all sorts of interesting things in this. Again, I haven't read through this yet. But, yeah, I think this is a Nolan film that is growing on me more when I think about it. I do really like it, but I haven't seen it in... God, I haven't seen it since the IMAX screening, actually, so I haven't seen it in 4 years now. So one day, I'll go back to this film. I really do like it. I wouldn't say that I adore the film, but it is a really good film, actually. I think it made it in my top 5 of the year. Yeah, it did, I believe. Gary and I did a review on this film 4 years ago when it first came out, so if you want my more in-depth thoughts on Interstellar, links in the description for that review. Now I got next 2 Blu-rays here. Ip Man 2. Don't have the third one yet. I'm really looking forward to when the fourth one comes out, actually. The first Ip Man is a martial arts masterpiece. It's one of the best martial arts films ever. Ip Man 2, a really good sequel to the film. It's not as good as the first, but it's still really enjoyable. The third film, I like it. I need to rewatch it again. I wouldn't say I adored the film, but it's still a very enjoyable film. But these 2 films, really good. Especially this one. This one's like one of my favourite films. One day I hope to do a review on the Ip Man films. Hopefully leading up to the 4th film, whenever that comes out in the UK. But yeah, Donnie Yen. Man, if you've seen Donnie Yen, but all you've seen of Donnie Yen is Rogue One, get to watch an Ip Man, folks, because even in Hero, he's really good in Hero, but he's only in it for a little bit. He's an incredible action star, and these are the reasons why. So yeah, really do check Ip Man out if you can, because they're great. Next up, It, the new It, by Andy Muschietti. Yes. Now this isn't terrifying, like a lot of people might think. A lot of people might hype it up to be like, it's so scary, it's terrifying, I couldn't sleep for days. No, it's not terrifying. But what it is, it does the best job at being so spooky, just so cool and creepy, and just, the whole film's just so cool. Like, the pinnacle of the coolness in this film is when Pennywise comes out the fridge. Like, One of my favourite things in a film ever is in this film, and that's that scene, the fridge scene. But it has a sensational performance by Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. The makeup is great, but his performance is just so electrifying. And all the kids in this film, fantastic. I love it. It harkens back to like Stand By Me vibes, which, hey, it's Stand By Me if instead of finding a body, they were running from a clown. That's what this is. It's so good. I haven't seen them since the cinema though, but this might be a watch for this October because, boy oh boy oh boy, it's a very it's very entertaining, and it's long, but it goes by like that. I feel it's one of my favourite coming of age horror films. There you go, there you go. Up next is It Comes at Night. Now last year I said It Comes at Night was my favourite horror film of last year. I said that within the top 10 video, and I still stand by that. A lot of people are like, oh, it sucks. I'm like, you clearly don't get it, and I don't do that often. I'm like, you don't get, excuse me, I'm not like, you don't get the film. But it's like people are like, well, where's the monster? Where is it? It's like, well, it's, first of all, it's pretty self-explanatory what it is, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And it's like, why don't they want to come out at night? Because they're in a post-apocalyptic type of thing. Why would you want to go out at night? It's like in The Last of Us. If you've played The Last of Us, would you want to just go lollygagging around at night? No. Do you know why? Because you might get murdered by something, whether it be a clicker or another idiot human that wants your stuff that you've got. So that's probably why they don't want to go out at night. That's probably why there's rules to be like, yeah, don't go at night, because you might be murdered by anything. Okay? That's why the rules are set there. I love the atmosphere in this film. I love just the score, the editing. I absolutely adore the editing to this film. Yeah, it's probably my favourite A24 horror film. I love this film, and I do need to rewatch it. I might do that again for October, who knows? And the final film that we're going to talk about in this video is It Follows. Now this is going to be a bit of a downer. Not because I haven't seen it. I've seen this quite a few times actually. However, I'm not going to talk really much about this film because I'm going to be looking to review this film for Spooktober. That's one of the planned things to do, is to review this film for Spooktober. So, quick summary. I really like the film. And that's all you're getting from me until Spooktober. And that is it. That is all of the I Blu-rays. And that is also all of the H Blu-rays, if I can get them safely without them kamikazing. No! And I didn't. Hugo took How to Train Your Dragon 2, House of Flying Daggers, Hook, and Hidden Figures with him. So, yeah, thank you all for watching this part of the Blu-ray video. The next part will be the J's and the K's. The J's, the K's, and the L's. The J's, the K's, and the L's. I'm putting 3 letters into this one. So look forward to that video. Hopefully that will come to you tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Until next time, well, why am I doing that? Cheers! I'm going to finish my green tea, I'm going to mix some water, and I'm going to hopefully make some more videos for you all.